The androids were defeated on Earth, and King Cold was defeated out in space. But now, the paths of Broly, Goku, and Raditz will finally merge. What's going to happen from here on out? We'll cover all that and more in this 8th part of What If Goku Joined Raditz. Years have passed after the androids' defeat, and at some point, a ship arrives on Earth. They think it's the Frieza Force because, well, it's the same ships that they used. Plus, the people coming off the ships, they're wearing the same armor. The only assumption is that King Cold is here. But somebody else steps off the ship. He looks almost like a Saiyan, which is really confusing because as far as they know, all the Saiyans are dead. Plus, where is King Cold? It looks like this guy's in charge of everything, but that makes no sense. The man is very glad to see Goku and Raditz, and he greets them, introducing himself as Paragus, the leader of this army. He knows the two of them are fellow Saiyans, and he wants to team up with them. He's been looking all over for Kakarot and Raditz. He knew about them from before because, of course, they fought Frieza. They rebelled against the Frieza Force in the first place, and he finds it quite admirable. Now, they're going to be ruled by him. But as fellow Saiyans, he'll treat them very well. He just needs them to help with one thing first. This is kind of a long shot, and Paragus doesn't think it's going to go this smoothly, but he leads off with this, just to make it seem less suspicious. He offers them a position in the army, very high in fact. They won't be subordinates, but allies. As the last few Saiyans around, they need to stick together. Goku says he doesn't care to join the army, and Raditz is beyond work for the Frieza Force. Although he is a bit surprised to see a Saiyan leading it. Paragus? He's never heard of this guy. Plus, he thought the Frieza Force would have died along with Frieza himself. Now, they knew that King Cold was out there still and assumed that he would have taken over it, but that definitely wasn't going to last long, and they thought that King Cold would come for them eventually. So, that's one of the first questions. Where is King Cold? They never found out what happened to him. Paragus lies and says that he killed King Cold. He overthrew him and took over the Empire. Really? He defeated King Cold. So, he must be pretty strong then. Is he a Super Saiyan as well? And Goku has to test his power because, well, it's another strong Saiyan in front of him. Of course he's going to want to fight him. Alright, well, Paragus didn't expect this, but he plays along with it and says he'll fight them later. He has more pressing issues right now. He doesn't really want to fight them right at the moment. In reality, Paragus has no clue how to turn into a Super Saiyan or really knows what that is. They've heard rumors of it because of what happened with Goku and Raditz, but no one's actually ever seen it in person or knows what it truly is. And it's not just that, even without Super Saiyan, these two are far stronger than Paragus. He has no chance at a fight with them. He's nowhere even close to Frieza or King Cold's full strength, let alone them. But he cuts to the chase. He says there's a Berserk Saiyan out there, and for some reason, he has a vendetta against other Saiyans. Now, as the last few Saiyans left, they need to stop him, even if that enemy is a Saiyan himself. His idea is to have these two help fight him. He's going to join, of course, because, well, he's powerful himself. He killed King Cold after all. The three of them will work together. So, what's Paragus' plan here? Well, it's to manipulate Broly. He's going to have these two fight Broly, which will result in Broly killing them. Paragus obviously isn't going to join the fight. This is just another lie. The reason Paragus wants these two dead is because, well, he hates the Saiyans, and they're pretty big threats. He doesn't know if they would have attacked him eventually. Not to mention, by doing this, he'll be able to fabricate a common enemy for him and Broly to hate. You know, the same Saiyans that they hated before. This will just be more proof that they need to team up again. They need to stick together. And on top of that, he'll be supporting Broly along the way. He'll tell Broly that there's more Saiyans out there and they're coming to kill him. And what better way to make him think that than have him fight actual Saiyans? He doesn't see any other way to get Broly back other than manipulation. And on top of that, he still does need to get rid of these two because they're going to potentially be threats in the future. So, he'll be killing two birds with one stone. But how is he going to convince them? Well, he used the same lie to them. He says this monstrous Saiyan out there, he's going to come to Earth and kill them, which is another lie. Paragus does have a little bit of a hard time keeping track of his story, but in short, what he's doing is kind of like what the Heaters did with Goku and Vegeta fighting Granola. These two don't trust him, obviously, and it's not going to be easy to get their trust. But he has proof of the Saiyan. He has footage of Broly going berserk. So, while they don't really believe the rest of what he's saying, they do know that there is another Saiyan out there. Not just him, but another one beyond that. One who's actually really powerful. And they are kind of interested in the prospect of the fight, at least. They don't really want to help him out, but hey, testing their power out against another strong Saiyan? It could be interesting. Raditz thinks it's dangerous and unnecessary, but it could be a fun experience. Even though he's usually more cautious, he's thinking now, well, he's a Super Saiyan too. He'll be able to take on this fight, and Goku's thinking the same thing. This is going to be a really exciting battle. What if that guy's a Super Saiyan as well? And Raditz is really interested in the prospect of other Saiyans being out there, even if it is just these two. It takes a lot of convincing, and Paragus needs to come up with more lies to string them along, but eventually, he's able to get them to join. They're not actually his allies, but they're going to go out and fight that Saiyan with him. Kind of out of curiosity. But they make it very clear that they're not joining his army, and they're not going to take over planets for him or anything. That's fine. Paragus says the offer is still open though, so if they ever want to join, they can. In their minds, if he's coming to Earth anyways, it might be better to strike against Broly first. Besides, they've ascended Super Saiyan. This can't really be a big issue. Although they're going to bring more people along with them, it's not just going to be these two. They bring along Gohan, Tien, and Krillin. They've been training a lot to keep up with the Saiyans. At first it was because there was no Goku, and there was the threat of Raditz out there. But it kind of just bled into their regular training even after Goku and Raditz returned. So, the two of them have continuously been growing stronger and stronger, developing a rivalry with each other, and trying to reach the Saiyans in terms of power. So the five of them board Paragus' ship, leaving Earth. And it's kind of funny, while writing this, I was more so inspired by what the Heaters did, like I mentioned before, but I'm also now realizing I'm kind of just creating the plot of movie 8 here. I mean, Paragus coming to Earth, tricking them to fight Broly, that's literally just the same plot. Kind of funny. I swear that was completely unintentional, but screw it, we're rolling with it. As they depart Earth, another ship follows close behind them, with no one aware that it's even following them. Paragus has kept tabs on Broly, so they know his exact location right now. They never attacked because they didn't really have anyone to attack with, and they're not really looking to attack him, but they also know that they can't come peacefully. So he's been waiting to strike, and now they finally can. They know exactly where Broly's hiding out on, the same planet that they were at for decades, Vampa, and Paragus sends them all down to the planet. They wonder why he's not coming along with them because if he's strong enough to fight, he should be joining them. And he says he would love to battle, but he's got to stay back here because he's dealing with his own emergency. He'll join the battle eventually, but he'll let these Saiyans get the battle started. Besides, he knows Saiyans like to fight one-on-one anyways. Once the battle really gets going, he's going to join in. There's no point in him getting involved if they're not even going to fight together. The main ship goes into orbit, with one ship sent down below to drop everyone else off. Krillin is kind of questioning the whole thing, and Goku says that he's not stupid. He knows something's fishy about this, but still, he's not going to turn on the opportunity for a fight. And Raditz isn't too worried. They have a ship here. If they do actually need to escape, Raditz knows how to fly this, and so does Goku for that matter. They've worked around these things for years. They really were just curious about finding another Saiyan here, and especially if he actually was strong, they did want to fight him, but they've brought along Senzu beans, and if things go sideways, they could easily retreat. They fly around the planet, and it doesn't take too long for them to come across Broly. He's not really suppressing his power, and even though he's not at full strength right now, it's pretty easy to sense his ki. They come across him and he's not exactly what they expect. He's a pretty sizable Saiyan, but besides that, he doesn't really look too intimidating. He's just sitting there with two other people, Chilai and Lemo, and immediately when they approach, he's on guard. And Broly doesn't even try to hear them out because he immediately realizes what's happening. Three of them are Saiyans, evidenced by the tails. They must be here to kill him. He always knew there were other Saiyans out there, but he didn't think they'd be able to find him. He does consider that maybe they're working for Paragus, but the more likely explanation is that these Saiyans are here to kill each other because, after all, when growing up on Vampa, Paragus basically brainwashed him to hate the Saiyans. He's programmed to think that these are his enemies. Broly immediately goes into his wrathful form, which he actually does have control over, at least as much control as you could have in an uncontrollable form. He tries to keep his anger at a manageable level, and that lets him fight with this form and still grow stronger in it. But he still is prone to snapping, and they're not really too sure what's going to happen if he does truly snap. Goku's the first to fight, and he tries to fight in base at first, but immediately has to jump into Super Saiyan. And then Raditz tags in, jumping into Super Saiyan 2, taking on the fight alone. But despite not even being a Super Saiyan himself, Broly is keeping up. Raditz right now in Super Saiyan 2 is actually stronger than him. The issue is Broly is growing as he fights. So, Goku and Gohan both join in, and everyone fights together. Instead of joining the battle, Tien and Krillin go up to Chilai and Lemo, expecting that they're going to have to fight them too. But those two aren't warriors. Broly's fighting 3 Super Saiyan 2s at once, and it is more than enough to actually overwhelm him. He's still growing, but they could stop him now, and then he won't be a problem. Chilai and Lemo point guns at Tien and Krillin, and Chilai even fires her gun, but it doesn't do anything. Tien just swats it away, and his first instinct isn't even to fight them. Same for Krillin. They ask who they truly are, because they know something's really fishy about this. Gohan was pretty hesitant to come along, but Krillin and Tien knew that they kinda had to be the level-headed ones here and try and figure out what's actually going on, just so they can be prepared. They're not too worried because, first of all, they have the advantage in the fight right now, and Broly doesn't seem like a true threat. He doesn't even really seem evil. He was just defending himself. But what they do know is that Paragus is probably a threat. The guy is leading the Frieza Force after all. It's pretty obvious that he's a threat here. And as they talk, Krillin comes to realize that, as they expected, most of what Paragus said is fake. Broly's actually his son. But why does Paragus want them to kill his son? They learn Broly has an uncontrollable type of power, but he's gotten a grip on it. And Paragus is watching from space. He didn't actually expect him to get the edge on Broly. He doesn't want them to kill Broly. That's not the plan. Actually, the opposite. He wanted Broly to kill them. He underestimated their strength. And as he's watching from above, Chilai and Lemo then get involved, and they're able to calm Broly down, explaining everything to him, and he de-transforms. Paragus thought he was tricking them. He really thought they were that stupid to go along with it, but really? They were the ones tricking him, if anything. They got a good fight out of this, and they knew that Paragus was a threat from the start. He just didn't think they would be strong enough. And he doesn't want to kill Broly, but the other Saiyans should still die, and if Broly truly isn't going to rejoin him, he might have no choice but to kill him. So he's going to have to go with the nuclear option. Kill everyone on that planet at once, which is pretty easy. None of them can breathe in space. And Paragus can easily blow up a planet. Saiyans are pretty great at destroying planets after all. He'll get rid of the Saiyans that he's long sought revenge against. And as much as it pains him to get rid of Broly, he's a liability, and a potential threat to him. Paragus puts on a breathing apparatus and steps out into space. He holds out a single hand, charging an attack aimed at Vampa. And right when he launches the attack, a sword slices through it, before it even gets close to the planet. The blast explodes midair, knocking Paragus back into his ship. And as Paragus recollects himself, he feels something weird on his face, something sticky. It's like someone spit on him. But as he goes to feel his face, it feels like stone, and slowly, the rest of Paragus turns into stone. A large man then boards his ship, looking around. Paragus' troops are ready to attack him, but he simply blinks at them and knocks them all away. The man smirks, telling Babidi now is the time. Not too far away, Babidi's ship has landed on Vampa. Babidi's been keeping tabs on everyone on Earth, and when they left to fight Broly, he saw this as the perfect opportunity. A battle between his Saiyans. That could help get him some energy. Of course, it would be tough without any one of them being his servants. Although he could either stab them with the energy collection device, or possess one of them, which shouldn't be too hard. And especially now after seeing them fight, he knows that this is going to work for him. He thought he'd have to revive Buu on Earth, maybe during the World Tournament that was about to come up. But this is better. Babidi begins working his magic. Since everyone's power down and the fight is ended, it might be a little tough to steal energy from them manually. So, why not just make someone work for him? As everyone's conversing with Broly, he then grabs his head and screams in pain. And it looks like he transforms again, going into his wrathful form, but something's a little different this time. His ki flares up even further. Red sparks of electricity form around him too. Raditz sees that his forehead starts glowing, like a symbol's appearing on it. And then, there's a huge surge of energy. Babidi regroups with Dabra, and they watch together from space, looking into Babidi's crystal ball. Babidi says he was actually really easy to take control of, considering his father's betrayal of him, and the anger of Wrathful still lingering in him after the fight. Although, Babidi didn't expect that Broly would be this strong. But with him basically being mindless when he goes berserk, that anger makes it pretty easy for Babidi to control him, but it also had some sort of side effect. Besides just boosting his power, it gave him a transformation. Broly finishes power mode. He's grown significantly in size. His eyes are completely blank, but most notably, his hair is now golden. Broly has become a Super Saiyan. Tien asks what's happening, and Lemo says this is something else. Chila has never seen this before either. This isn't Broly. This is something completely different. They have no clue what's happening, but what they're witnessing is the birth of Majin Broly, and soon, the birth of Majin Buu. And this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.